So hello and welcome back to our second attempt at this live stream. Hopefully you'll be able to hear both our voices. Again, I'm here with Jambo Shango. Jambo, say hello.
Hello. Can you hear me, everyone? Please tell me you can hear my voice.
Well, we can live in hope. People should start joining. Or this is going to be a very one-sided conversation. Again, technical difficulties.
Yeah, we'll just...
Got to love them.
Wow, this is...
Yeah, so, before we get cut off, and before we get cut off again, probably, we were talking about Arrow Video and why we love it as much as we do. So, I'll let you take this away.
Right, so why do I love Arrow Video? That was the question, and what I was going on about was, I think for me, is yes, there's the packaging, there's the extras, there's the love and attention, and the newly commissioned artwork, and that's one thing. And don't get me wrong, that's a fantastic thing they do where they invest that time, love, effort, blah blah blah. But I think the big thing for me is the depth of their library of films. The fact that they'll take these maybe obscure films and bring them out, and bring them out to the public, and actually bring them out to different market for people. I think that's the big thing for me, where you can go and get not only famous cult classics, like, I don't know, I think the big ones like The Thing, it broke their website, didn't it, when they launched that one. They can do something like that, so well known and well loved. But then they could do something like, I don't know, I'm looking here, Rabid Dogs or Schlock, something like that, whom a lot of people may not have heard of. So they're just kind of reintroducing fans and maybe new fans to a point in his cinema history. So that's what I love about them. And there's quite a few other labels, but Arrow to me are kind of the industry leader in taking these cult films, and it's also the genres they cover. Horror, they do some good Japanese movies, and I've got a few action, but I think they're probably most famous for their horror, to be fair. So yeah. What about you?
I quite like the boutique labels in general. So you've got Eureka's Masters of Cinema, you've got Indicator, you've got Arrow, Criterion, 88 Films. But for my sensibilities, the movies I love most, Arrow Video, are the ones that keep delivering to it. I get some of my favourite movies from there, like The Burbs, Big Trouble in Little China, the classics.
Big Trouble in Little China, 100% that one.
You build up a level of trust. You start to find out that they're curating movies that you'd love, and you want to just discover more things. And it's got to the level now where I'm quite happy to blind buy a movie because I trust that it's going to be something that I genuinely like.
Well, I think that's it. You spend a lot of time and effort and money, and you do establish a brand loyalty. And with that brand loyalty comes that kind of just blind buy. And I remember having a conversation with someone about, I would never buy a movie I've never seen. Why would I waste my money on a movie I've not seen? And was having this conversation, and one person said, well, every time you see a movie, it's a blind buy. You go to the pictures, you drop 10, 15 quid, and where I live, you don't get much change with popcorn out 20 odd quid. So that's a blind buy, If you don't go, it's the same, So I don't agree with that argument, but yes, you build up that brand loyalty. They hit out the big hitters like The Thing. For me, John Carpenter movies like The Thing, Big Trouble in Little China. Recently with the Candyman, and I think that's come over time with bringing out the smaller films, and over time with the growth of the business. 10 years. That's why we're here today. That's why they're probably able to get the rights to, and things like that. But you build this brand loyalty and this kind of just want to support, don't you?
Yeah, because you can see it with all the bells and whistles are nice, the packaging, the artwork, the booklets, and everything else. But if the film isn't, your cup of tea, and I think Arrow Video's movies go to a certain kind of group of people, the people that appreciate the horror movies or the Asian cinema or obscure. For me personally, the Italian selection of movies have been a great discovery for me, something that I may never have gotten round to if it wasn't for Arrow pushing them on, and slashers. I thought I had seen all the slashers from the 80s, and they barely scratched the surface, and you come across things. I picked up Doom Asylum, which I've heard is awesomely crap, and Trapped Alive.
Awesomely crap, that's Good way, yeah.
Trapped Alive.
Yeah, awesomely crap.
Which they may be crap, but I will get enjoyment out of those movies.
Yeah, I really did that. Doom Asylum, yeah. And that's the thing with them, you know.
Yeah.
They bring out these obscure slashers, but they're Italian. I'll tell you something, and I don't mind saying this. I discovered Argento through Arrow.
Same.
So, you know, straight away I hadn't seen any Argento movies. Strangely, the first one I ever watched was then Suspiria a few years ago.
Right.
But then you start learning about Italian horror.
Uh-huh.
And as you start learning about Italian horror, the maestros, you know, Bava,
Fulci,
Argentos. So then you start, Fulci. You start getting all these films, and you just kind of, you know, like George Eastman, you know, a famous Italian actor, and he's in all these films. You just kind of discover, Argento to me, yeah. And they've done some fantastic releases, like the Phenomena box set and things like that. So, yeah, without Arrow, Jambo may not have seen any Argento movies.
So we're going to go through our top 10 favourite Arrow releases. This is it's not necessarily discs. This is more about the movies themselves. Yeah, just our favourite kind of releases that they've brought out. So how are we going to do this? Have you got them in order from a 10 to 1 or just a group of 10?
Yeah, I do. So we're going through my top. I'm just getting my notebook out. You know, I get a bit prepared, bit of homework. Right, so these are my top 10 current releases in my collection.
Right.
So, like I said, I don't have everything. There's a few I really want. I can see one behind your head, Graham, and it's the Scorpion. I forget its title. Oh, yeah. And that's weird with Arrow.
Female prison.
They'll release one, and they'll have it in their sales for a few times, and then it'll go out of print. It's like the Phantasm box set. I remember that was down to £30, and now shut up.
Has it?
But yeah, okay. What do you want to do? Do you want me to do my full top 10, or I'll do 10 to 5 or 10 to 6?
Yeah, let's go 10 to 6, and then I'll do that, and then we'll do our top 5.
Yeah, all right, mate. Right, number 10. And I've even got them to the side. My number 10 spot, that's Demons.
Nice.
So,
is that the 1 and 2 Steelbook, yeah?
Umberto Bava. Sorry?
The 1 and 2 Steelbook?
Yeah. The 1 and 2 Steelbook, signed by Bava himself. So, met him the other year at HorrorCon when Argento couldn't make it. But yeah, never seen Demons till I saw this. Till I picked up this edition. And I went through a phase of Steelbooks. I think most collectors went through a phase of Steelbooks. And yeah, that's my number 10, Demons.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Number 9.
Uh-huh.
Number 9. Number 9, let me grab it. Just making sure I've got all the chat comments, and that is Eaten Alive. Now, if Randy Mole's watching this, I'm not sure if he's joined us yet. But Eaten Alive, I put it in number 9, but if I did this list tomorrow, it might be higher. I did a video about the top 10 Arrow discoveries. So the first time, so that video was about a blind bought film, and that was my number 1 discovered movie through the Arrow video label. Now it's not number 1 in my editions I own, but Eaten Alive, fantastic Toby Hooper movie. Yep. I met Toby Hooper a few years ago before he passed, and he was at a London Film Comic Con, and everyone was doing Texas Chainsaw. And then me and Randy Mole talked about this film. And he got up from got off his chair and come behind the desk, and it like a new life in the bloke. He just looked bored, senseless of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But yeah, it's just such a grimy, and he was telling us how it was set, and it was just lit with reds and oranges. It was all on a set, and he was saying he'd be stood at the top of the set with like a cigar shouting at him constantly. Yeah, so yeah, Eaten Alive, number 9. Number 8 is Tom Hanks' Burbs.
Yep.
Someone called this their comfort blanket, and I think that's a perfect description for it. So Burbs, Tom Hanks, love it. That's number 8. Number 7 is Zombie Flesh Eaters, Fulci's Zombie Flesh Eaters. Can't go wrong with a bit of Zombie Flesh Eaters. So that's number 7. Number 6, then over to you, is the recent release of Candyman. Yeah. Now, with going back to Zombie Fleshy, is obviously I've recently picked up the Steelbook.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be bothered to get it down all the way off the shelf, so this is why I got this one. So the Steelbook would be my favourite edition out of the two, but I'll just grab this one. But yeah, the Candyman box set, I think it's a great piece of work. You know, if you haven't got it, I don't even know if it's out of print now.
Yeah, I think it might be. Should be.
Yeah. And I never saw the unrated version, the US unrated version, so that was the first one. Or was it the UK one I hadn't seen? I think it's the UK one, which isn't this normal release. I can't remember now. It may be that one. But anyway, great box set. I love that the Arrow put the effort into the hard box. And you get posters and the Amaray disc. But yeah, that's my number 6.
Okay.
Right. Let's see what you've got then.
You've put me to shame because I don't have them at hand. But...
well, you know,
we've got a couple
you asked me to join this, so I thought I better be prepared.
We've got a couple of comments. So why don't you read them out while I grab them quickly?
All right, okay. Right, comments. Right, let me figure this out. Not figure this out. Right, so we have got Tony. All right, dude. 280 titles and going strong. I'm sure you've only been collecting like 18 months, dude. Bet your wife doesn't like all this. Blue Corner, A up. Andy, Grumpy Andy's joined us. Yes, Demons, mate. I hope you've seen that. In fact, you're saying Demons. I think you are. Blue Corner, right. So this is your top 10 then. This is your top 10 editions or favourite Arrows. Candyman number 1. Wow. Maniac Cop. The Guyver. Do you know what? I've not actually seen that. So The Thing, yeah. Burning. House. House 2 though. Alright. Big Trouble. Chud. So you've imported the American one then. Or unless you're in America. Sorry. The Boondock Saints. Yeah, I like that. And Hell Comes to Frogtown. Rest in peace, Riley Piper. My best recent one is probably Deadbeat at Dawn, Tony. You really like Deadbeat at Dawn. We were talking about that today, I think. Yeah, Deadbeat at Dawn is a real grimy... It's not what I thought it was when I put it on, but it was pleasantly surprising. It was just filth. Yeah, never heard of it before I released it. Me too. So bought it as a blind buy. Yep, and it's a great independent movie. Completely agree. The box orange can is out of print. Yep, okay. Oh, you're in Denmark. All right, so you imported it, and the same with the Children of Corn. Yeah, the Americans do get. Yeah, Randy Moles joined us. I didn't get technology working. It's all Graham. I'm just sat here with my headphones on, sweating. Yeah, the Americans. That's the other thing with Arrow, where they've done US exclusive, like the Children of Corn, Reanimator, Dillinger. I think's one.
Yeah. There's one that
and I've seen
that's out recently that they did. I wanted to see, but it's only US as well. I can't remember the name. And
there's one. There's a cowboy, a Franco Nero one. Is it Kioma?
Yes. You
can still get it, but it's an ABC release.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a shame they get some exclusives, but I can understand with licenses and things like that.
Right. So after that quick.
So Randy, sorry.
I've managed to...
Might be a little drunk, Andy. Right, okay.
I've managed to pull...
It doesn't take much though, does it, mate? Right, sorry. What you got?
Okay, my number 10.
Number 10, let's have a look. Oh, you bugger. Yes. I've got that. I was looking at that at eBay today.
Right.
It's a nice edition.
This was one that I picked up a long while ago at a ridiculous $9.99. I don't even know. I don't know how much it's going for now. But Battle Royale,
a lot more than $9.99.
Battle Royale, if you haven't seen it, is utterly fantastic. If you like the Hunger Games, then what kind of genre movies are you missing out on? Battle Royale,
yes, exactly,
is just tremendous. Group of kids, the worst class in the year, taken away, given weapons, brutally murdering each other. But this is the most complete kind of set that I've seen of this movie. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I'd hate not
and
to
Savvy have just released another copy of it in steelbook form.
But it's exactly the same disc, just with a pushed up price. Typical Zavvi. My number 9.
Yes.
Is Waterworld, which I think it goes on there simply because of the Ulysses cut, which just makes the movie fantastic. Even better than...
And it's one of the greatest films ever made.
And the fact that it's practical. It is. I agree. When you're watching the bit in the oil tanker at the end, and you're like, they actually did this.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
Next up,
that film is amazing.
Now you're going to see some movies that I'm holding up that are sealed because I'm one of those guys that buys multiple copies of things. So
you're a double, triple dipper, Graham.
Yeah, I am on some things. So, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I love this movie. This is one of these movies that I've had on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, another Blu-ray. As soon as it comes out in 4K, I'll have it in 4K probably as well. I love this, and this is the 4K edition. I've not watched it, but I've got the other Arrow edition that was out, and some of the extras are different as well, so it's pretty good. Number 7 is The Cat o' Nine Tails.
Yes, okay.
Special edition. Again, one of my favourite Argento movies. I love the fact that it's got a blind puzzle maker as its lead character. And it's just a great addition. And my number 6, Deep Red.
Yeah. Again. Now that's another edition I want.
Another one.
Goes for silly, silly money.
I bought this on a whim, and it sat on my shelf for 3 years before I opened it. Literally, I think it was April time. Yeah, April. I think May. I sat and watched it, and I thought that's my favourite Argento movie. Deep Red. Just okay. Instantly loved it.
I think that's Grumpy Andy's as well. You can correct me if I'm wrong, dude, but I think that's his as well.
He's quite right about me being. He's put a comment there about me setting up this whole live stream to brag about how much I paid for the Battle Royale set.
If you paid $9.99 for the Deep Red set, I'm hanging up.
No, I think that was full price.
And that's the thing, with these limited editions. If you don't grab them, then they just go off in price.
Yeah, it puts the fear into you, but then sometimes things just don't sell, and you end up like you said, the Phantasm set. I picked that up for £30.
Yeah, I got that on day one release. I know. Because I thought it would be, like the other releases, they just quickly set out. Why not? A huge franchise like that in a real nice edition.
Yeah. But as I said, I posted a video today, a Blu-ray update, and I said in that about the Laraz box set that I bought. Now I bought it. 20 days later, the sale started for Arrow.
No, the buy one get right.
And I took it back to the shop with the receipt, and I said
it demanded you a free copy of something.
Yeah, pretty much. And the worst thing about it is they didn't have anything else at the price that I wanted, so I ended up picking up a second set of The Ring and just gave it away to a friend. didn't even have to do it. I just wanted value for money.
Well, that's it. I bought that one. I tell you what, I paid 20. I bought that box set, and I chose the Life Force as the free one because it was $24.99 the HMV, and then it dropped to $14.99. And I was just like, so I was going to get the De Palma and De Niro early works instead. But I thought, I'm going to get Life Force because it's a different version. The Life Force is great. Mm-hmm. I knew it'd drop into $14.99. I should get my receipt and go back like you did. Yeah. But anyway.
Okay.
Deep Red is an absolute masterpiece, Andy. Right. But I call it Profondo Rosso. I bet he's sipping a glass of red wine as he says that. Right. Number 5 then.
Yes.
If you want to carry on.
No, you go.
Right then. Number 5 is Wes Craven's Hills of Eyes.
Nice.
Now, Randy Moore will be sitting there going, you hated it when we first watched it. And one night after some movies, we put it on TV, and it's a recent discovery, to be fair. And we started watching it on some awful, like, the Horror Channel, which is, like, below standard definition quality. It's just... And, I don't know, I wasn't feeling it. And then I've got it on DVD,
Mm-hmm.
So I then watched it, sorted it out and watched it. And to me, it's just... I don't want to say it's his best film, but it's certainly top 3, top 5. Top 3, top 5. But yeah, I love The Hills of Eyes. And they've just announced Hills of Eyes 2, which was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
and about 3 days before it was announced, I bought it on Blu-ray. Law of Sod, The Law of Sod. But it was like, anyway. But yeah, Hills of Eyes.
Yeah, great release.
I think it's a great addition, great release, great box set. Got mine signed there. I don't know if you can see, by D. Wallace.
Nice.
God, sure it's good for her age. Right, that was what, 5?
Yep.
Right,
and just
4.
just a quick interlude. Grumpy Andrew says that the Hills of Eyes remake is better.
What? What is better? Well, that could be a completely separate video maybe down the lines. Remake's better than the original. It's a good film, but I'm not going to waste any more breath on it right now. Right, number 4 is TCM2.
Oh.
Now, me and Randy Moll did we do a movie marathon every year where we sit down and spend a whole day watching movies. And it was the first time we watched this in that marathon. And when we finished it, I'm sure it was in a marathon, we were like, what have we just seen? Because it's so different to the first one, the whole tone, you know. And I think on first watch, you have to, if you have an expectation to be similar to the first one, and it's completely, as you know, or have you seen it?
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, it's if you're expecting, you know, the same tone, then your head's spun backwards. But I think on repeat viewings, Bill Moseley is just fantastic. And I remember, is it Andrew Balliner? He's a YouTuber, an Australian guy. He hates this, and I think, I want to say masterpiece, but that's probably such a strong word to throw around. But on repeat viewing, I've grown. This is my go-to Chainsaw Massacre now. I absolutely adore it. Absolutely adore it.
But you need to look at it as a masterstroke, because when you've done a masterpiece, one of the best horror movies ever made, how do you follow that up with something exactly the same? You have to change it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think he did the right thing. He went, right, you give me all this money, right, I'm going to go and do this. And at the time, he was off his tits anyway, Cooper. So, reflects in this film.
Yeah.
Right, number 3. Waterworld. I've been a huge Waterworld fan all my life. And you know when Arrow do that release which just comes out of left field and you go, what? But it's the pleasant excitement of what they're doing this release. It's like if they did Enter the Dragon, I think I'll just lose it. But Waterworld, and the fact that you got the Ulysses cut, is that how you say it? And that was the first time I've ever seen it, and it really just put a different tone with the ending where they, I don't know if I want to spoil it for anybody, but you know, when they actually the new scenes, the extra scenes added in, it does.
Yeah.
It's nearly 3 odd hours long, isn't it, with that cut? But
yeah,
I think that film, to me, there's a nostalgia behind it, to be honest. You know, we all can see, we're all stupid enough to say it's the best film ever made, but when it has something, when you have a care for it, you know, nostalgia, an attachment to it, then when Arrow do something like this, how can you not just love it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Waterworld. Right, number 2 is The Thing. John Carpenter's Thing. How can it not be in the list? Thing. I'm not going to talk too much about it. And number 1 is, I don't know if you can see it there, Big Trouble in Little China. I have 3 copies of this on Arrow label. 2 steelbooks on the Amaray. I wish they'd done a big box edition though, you know. But yeah, Big Trouble in China is again a nostalgic film for me. It is John Carpenter's second best film. That's going to be controversial. No. For me anyway.
No, I'm with you. 100%. Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. Just
behind Halloween. It doesn't take over Halloween for me. But yeah, it's got everything for me. And Kurt Russell is he's one of my favourite actors. So and his role in here as Jack Burton is it's just perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, you know, just looking through them top 10 titles I've just gone over, it's some of cinema's best movies. And I think if you look at it's all 80s and 90s. I don't think there's anything earlier than that. So golden year. So there we go. That was my concluding top 10 Arrow releases. So
okay. So my turn.
Over to you.
My number 5, Candyman. I love this movie. I feel that this is an edition that really deserves to be this good an edition, because the movie is absolutely stunning. One of the best horrors, and I think it kind of gets put down a little bit because it came out in the 90s, and we all know the 90s wasn't great. But yeah, it's still great. My number 4 is Donnie Darko.
Oh,
Sealed,
okay.
Yeah. I've got another copy of this as well, but I don't know. I've got a thing about bursting the seals on these limited sets, some of them, which ends up means that I buy a couple of editions of it. But Donnie Darko's always been one of those.
We all have a good bargain.
Yeah. My number 3 is The Burbs.
Yes.
Tom Hanks, possibly his best movie, if you ask me. This was one that I loved in the 80s.
Movie.
I really loved it. I watched it a lot, and then about 2 years ago I picked up this disc, and I think I watched it 5 times in 3 days, and I was just like in love with it. I was like, this is perfect. It's hilarious on so many levels. Everybody's perfect. Art is just one of the best characters ever.
It's strange because like The Burbs is, I find a lot of people I know The Burbs. So my wife, when we first were getting to know each other, she said once came out and went, sardines? I was like, what are you talking about? And she goes, oh, it's The Burbs, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, not seen The Burbs. But even so, and she's not, you know, a movie lover, but I find a lot of people have seen The Burbs.
Yeah.
Because it's just a great movie.
My number 2, Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes. Yes.
Because Jack Burton is probably one of the best characters and worst heroes that we've ever had in cinema. I think his inept ability to
the most incompetent hero, yeah.
But somehow acts really cool while being incompetent. It's terrific. Great characters.
You kind of want to be him, but like not want to be him, if that makes sense. You want to be as cool as him, but maybe a bit more practical.
Yeah. And my number 1 is
okay. So is that your favourite Carpenter movie then?
It is my favourite Carpenter movie, and I think it's the edition we deserve. And I possibly shouldn't have bought 3 copies of it, but I did. I've got the Steelbook, the limited
3
Steelbook, limited edition, and regular copy. It's the thing. It's one of my top 5 movies of all time. I just absolutely love it, and that's it. I'll throw it to the side. Done. So we've got some crossover.
I'm interested to see someone like what the people in the comment, people watching it, what their top ones are.
Yeah, we'll dig into the comments and see what's there.
Yeah, so I'm like, if people watching, what we, because somebody already has, I forget who. Sorry, I'm scrolling back up there.
It was Dennis, I think.
The Blue Corner. Yeah. Okay, you've done your top 10, and yeah, Hell Comes to Frogtown. That could nearly have squeezed in.
Yeah, that's great.
It's them sort of films I can re-watch a lot more.
Yeah.
I think they're more easier watching, if that makes sense. It's like, if I'm going to bed and want to chuck something on at night, I probably won't put on The Thing. I'll put on Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Yeah, you want to see the dance of the 7 serpents.
So yeah, I'd like to hear what anyone else who's watching, what your top 5, if it's easier. You know, a lot of love here for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It's a stone cold classic from Grumpy Andy. Cannot win The Thing. Alright. Arrow has let me discover the movies of Lucio Fulci. So going back to what we talked about earlier, where you know, discovering Argento's filmography, that's one of the cool things about it.
Yeah.
Horror and Todd. Yeah, Horror and Todd. Sorry, he's doing a Road to 250 subscribers competition. He's a cool guy,
right.
And he's doing a giveaway. For the video, for the competition, and he's got a lot of Arrow goodness in there,
right.
Like the American. I think he's got the American. What do you call it? The American history, the American horror. You know what I mean? The volume 2 they've just done.
Yes, the Horror Project.
That's it. There we go. I got there. Or with your help. Yeah, but I'm sure he's giving that away and a few others. Really good things. So So yeah, sorry, I'll give him a bit of a plug there because I've met him and he randomly. This is how a small world it is. He lives literally 15 minutes from me.
Wow.
What a small world, eh?
Yeah.
So there we go. Right.
So Grumpy Andrews asked quickly, "What's the top 5 Carpenter?" So I can throw mines out if you want.
Right, you go first. I need to think about it.
Number 1's The Thing. Number 2 is Big Trouble in Little China. Number 3 is Escape from New York. Number 4 is They Live. Number 5 is In the Mouth of Madness.
Right. Okay. Right. 5-1 then. Number 5. Sorry, I'm looking at my John Carpenter section, and that's it with my organisations. I have a John Carpenter section. Right, I don't want to be going on for too long. 5 is Escape from LA.
Yes, love it. I saw that in the cinema.
4 Escape from New York. 3 The Thing. 2 Big Trouble, and 1 Halloween.
Nice.
There we go.
Okay, so
I bet people will be hating on LA, but I don't care.
Mega Sting's just asked if I noticed any issue with the ratio for the Beyond. I didn't, but can't say I noticed any problem with that.
No. See, LA, what the fuck? Yes. Is it Dennis, you say?
Yep.
Sorry, Dennis. It is one of the greatest movies.
Yeah.
No, that's a bit strong. It's great.
It's fun.
I don't care. I love it. I love Escape from LA.
I mean,
it needs arrow treatment, and that's one of the questions. Shall we jump onto that one?
Yes.
That's one of the questions.
Sure.
We did a bit of questions research. Well, prepped some questions, didn't we? Like, well, I've got here the top 5 most wanted releases by Arrow.
Okay.
Didn't we? So I've got some prepped, if that's all right.
Yep.
So, well, I've got more than 5, so I'll just go through the handful I've got in front of me. That's all right.
Yeah.
And these are titles which currently have a normal release, but we would want Arrow to obtain rights and give them the Arrow video treatment. All right. First one is Mad Max, and actually, if we can do the Mad Max trilogy, because they're just bone bare releases, just basic. I think Mad Max 2 Road Warrior is better, but I think Mad Max is that sort of cinema changing movies which need someone to do an ultimate release. So Mad Max trilogy. Snowpiercer. It just needs a UK release altogether. Yeah, it's a great train movie. So if Luke at Razor Wire ever watches this, he loves train movies. Yeah. But yeah, great movie. Korean director movie. But yeah, I don't think it's got any sort of UK physical media release, has it? No. I think it's on Netflix now. But yeah, I've had this for years. It's a German import. But yeah, such a cool movie. And I love them to basically give the UK market that movie. Other one, we talk cult. You can't get much more cult than Pulp Fiction. So, there's some over 6 hours of bonus features, but it would be cool to have a special edition Arrow release of this. Or even kind of like Tarantino, the early years, and do Reservoir Dogs, Jackie Brown, the golden era. But yeah, Pulp Fiction. Next one, Lost Boys. Such a fantastic movie, but such a basic release. So, yeah, love to see him do something with that. Funny enough, Escape from LA. Come on, Arrow. Make my year. Do an Escape from LA. Because this film, I remember there's a few films. Me and Randy Moore used to go to a pub and we stagger home, and I used to fall asleep late night, kind of midnight movies. And there's a few which I remember watching, and Escape from LA was one of those movies. So I actually saw Escape from LA before New York.
Great.
So maybe that's probably, I prefer New York, but I have this in high regard. So I'd love them to do a UK. I think it does have a UK Blu release, but yeah, Escape from. And the other one is Brother of the Wolf. Yep. I thought you might be shaking your head. And I bet a lot of people haven't heard of this. So if Randy Mole's still watching, this is how we went. I'm sure when we was at uni, we went and randomly watched this. So it's a French movie by Christophe Gans, or Gans. I think he did the Silent Hill movies.
Right.
Certainly the first one. It's a French movie with Marc Dacascos. Yeah. And it's basically set in central France, years and years and years and years ago. But it's this martial art monster movie.
Right.
And some of the cinematography in this, basically there's a beast killing people. And they come to town and they're employed to kill it. And it's just some of the best fight cinematography you'll ever see.
Mm-hmm.
And not a lot of people talk about this. I saw it on a video update the other day. Someone's doing their complete collection over. Rob the Bob, I think, something like that. And he's got it in his collection. And yeah, me and Randy Moore went and randomly saw it one day. And yeah, I absolutely adore this. Not a lot. And this is why, we talked earlier about how Arrow can get an obscure film, maybe not kind of well known to the mainstream, and bring it out and introduce it to a new market. This is what I think it would be. If I had to choose one out of all that, it would be this one.
Nice.
So there we go.
We'll just jump into some comments before I give you my list. Nathan Bartlett says he's loving rediscovering older movies from the 80s and 90s, such as Cohen and Tate, which is a pretty terrific movie.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Horror and TOJ says The Thing, then Big Trouble, Halloween, Prince of Darkness, and Mouth of Madness for his top 5. Grumpy Andrew says no hate, he'd stick Prince of Darkness in his, but it's a really unfair question. Nathan Bartlett says Escape from LA is awesome. Kurt Russell has never been cooler.
Yes. It's more love for LA. I like it.
Mega Sting says I'm looking forward to Nightbreed, which I'm not sure if it's still happening or not, but maybe coming from Arrow.
Well, it's advertised in their brochure, wasn't it? You got the 10 years of Arrow booklet. It's in there.
Nathan Bartlett again says Arrow need to do Fright Night 2, Space Hunter, Krull, Cannonball Run, and Performance.
Not heard of Performance.
I think that's the Mick Jagger, Nick Rogue one. I think from the 70s, possibly. Murders Will.
Has that got one of them HMV premium releases?
I think it may have. I know Krull did, but they messed up the aspect ratio in that. Love Krull.
And it goes for a ton of money. Yeah.
Does it?
True Lies and Running Man. Yeah, Running Man I nearly did because it's just had a UK Blu-ray release. It was bare bones. Good Stephen King. And True Lies just needs a bloody Blu-ray release. Full stop.
Okay, so a couple of movies mentioned different minds, but I just made a list of movies. Snowpiercer was on it because I think I just recently watched.
It was.
Yeah, I just recently watched Snowpiercer on Netflix again. That movie's quite damn amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
So I want Arrow limited edition Waterworld type efforts for these movies. I would like Last Action Hero with my own golden ticket inside the box. I do want Nightbreed. Hopefully we're going to get the cable cut or the Cabal cut.
Never seen Nightbreed. Never seen you.
The monster effects, perfect. I
Yeah.
would like to see a glorious edition of Return of the Living Dead, which with all the bells and whistles. I would like to see the Blind Dead collection. I would love Monster Squad because it's one of my favourites, but I know somebody has it. And finally,
well, I've seen that. Yeah, Germany are doing quite a lot of media books for that this year, and there's an Australian label called Cult Classics. They've just announced that releasing Monster Squad and something else, which is really exciting, and I can't bloody remember what it's called. It's a and often when they do a release, the UK follows suit.
So I think.
So I saw it on Twitter.
I think somebody has licensed it, but I don't think it's Arrow. And I know Eureka did Night of the Creeps, so it could be them. We'll wait and see. And lastly, and this is just personal because I love this movie and I know it's incredibly silly, but I would like a super duper version of Deep Rising.
Deep Rising. Yes. Why not?
Yes.
Why not?
Because it's that kind of cheesy movie.
And that's the other thing. I think that's what Arrow could do so well, and to take some kind of like, not strange genre, but some different ones. I mean, I'm looking I'm looking forward now. I've got a shelf in front of me, and staring me right in the face is The Crow, Near Dark, and Event Horizon. You can imagine them having a special editions.
Yeah.
The Crow could do with something, yeah. But yeah, well, why not?
Yeah, Grumpy Andrew, Deep Rising needed a sequel. They teased it, and I'm just so disappointed that we never got it. Man, that's made me kind of somber now. Anyway, what was it?
Good to see that people are commenting. There's some chat going on.
Have I missed anything?
Nope. Godzilla, and Grumpy Andrews want some love for Godzilla.
Right, so we're going to move on to our favourite Arrow discoveries.
Right. Yep.
How many are we doing?
Just going to have a drink. I got 5 next to my feet.
5. Okie dokie.
So, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, let me get mine together.
Right. No order, but first up is Motel Hell.
Well, I've not watched that.
So me and Randy Moore watched this for the first time together. So yeah, it takes all kind of critters to make Farmer Vincent's fritters. So it's brilliant. It is just grimy. And it's one of the movies, I would never have heard of until... I mean, that's the other thing. Look at the artwork. That's the other reason why you pick these. And that's the other thing which attracted me in the first... I think one of the questions we said we'd talk about is our first ever Arrow release. And when I talk about that one, and the reason why I picked up that release is because of the artwork. So anyway, Motel Hell, great slasher movie. Next up is The Car. I don't know if you've seen that one, Graham, but I love The Car. Not a lot of people like it, but I have a real good time with it. Next up is another Toby Hooper movie, and I watched it again the other night, and it was just... It got under my skin, it really did. Especially it's at the carnival, which now I'm giving away is the Fun House. But some of the carnival workers really got under my skin. And Toby Hooper is best there. The Fun House, really recommend that one. And, we talked about re-release. One of the questions we did talk about is re-releasing titles. Like Deep Red got re-released, Killer Clowns got re-released. We showed the re-release early on. I would like this to get a hard box re-release similar to the, Candyman and Hills of Ice. So yeah, Funhouse. So all these movies I'm showing here, Discoveries, hadn't seen them. Some of them never even heard of before. Picked them up because of brand loyalty to Arrow. Next up, here's we talked about it. Hell Comes to Frogtown. And this is one of them titles where they released so many, didn't they? And then it went out of print and went for silly money. Now, this is one. I think this is. Yeah, this is the first release one, so it's the double disc with booklet. And it's one of them ones where I was watching on eBay for ages, just being patient, and patience paid off. So, but yeah, absolutely love it. And last but not least is Dead End Driving, Ozploitation movie about a bunch of people going into a cinema, one of them drive-in cinemas, and getting locked in, and it's fantastic. So, I mean, there's so many more. Stormy Monday's a great one. But yeah, for me, those 5 are awesome.
Yep, I'll jump into my 5 straight away. I've already mentioned it. Deep Red. Like I said, hadn't really discovered Argento. I've now went and watched, I think, a good dozen of his movies. Deep Red is still my favourite, followed closely by Cat o' Nine Tails. I love these kind of giallo movies that the people working with some kind of journalist or detective to find a murderer. I just like murder mysteries with a little bit of gore, which is primarily what giallo is.
That is it summed up, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. And from the 2 Argentos, we move on to 2 Lucio Fulci movies that I'm so glad I discovered. And these are big movies as well. So we've got City of the Living Dead. Recently watched that.
Yes.
And I watched The Beyond, City of the Living Dead, and House by the Cemetery fairly close together. And I just...
Gates of Hell.
Yeah, the trilogy. And just, I loved City of the Living Dead. The music right from the start, when the girl starts to look just vomit her intestines, I was hooked.
Everything's come there.
Yeah, I was just
and the eye,
the blood.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did that. That's amazing.
Does it make sense to you though?
Does it have to? I mean,
it's like, I think that's famous. City of the Living Dead is infamous for being just mental, but just being fantastic at the same time.
It does have
I have a lot of
teleporting
love for that
zombies.
film.
It just
Exactly.
Right, and the last one, there's more I could pull out here. Like there was one I was looking for,
Yeah.
the Case of the Scorpion's Tail, which was great, but the last one is don't torture a duckling.
I'm not seen that one.
That's a
yeah.
That's a kind of grimy movie. You know, the kind of one that makes you feel a bit yucky after watching it. It's about children being murdered in this Italian town. There is some social justice going wrong in a vicious way. For some reason, out of all these things that you watch, seeing somebody being whipped across the face with a chain just is one of the most disgusting things I think I've seen. It just, skin all ripped and weird, and what happens to the end bad person, their face, is just a terrific effect. Don't Torture a Duckling was something that just kind of blew me away immediately. I knew I was watching something special.
Oh,
so
brilliant!
Highly recommended.
Apparently I called it Dead End Driveway. Yeah, it's been one of them days. It's Dead End Driving. My bad.
Okay. Let's see.
So just catching up with some comments. It's good to see people are still commenting. That's cool. If anyone else, what's your favourite Arrow discovery? Let us know.
Dennis
so a lot of love for Fulci in the group chat. By the looks of it.
Dennis has just said that the Scream Factory is doing the Blob. I hope that's the 1988 Frank Darabont version, because that is just that's a terrific movie. I would love to see Arrow doing that actually.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Yeah. Horror and Todd is saying he watched Street Trash for the first time last week and loved it. Yeah. How can you not love Street Trash? Exactly. And it's a shame, you know, I've got Street Trash on the Arrow DVD, but then 88 Films gets the rights for the Blu-ray release. Yeah. So, because that would have been a brilliant one, you know, with some Viper, a little Viper sticker.
Yeah, Grump Andrews put Fulci's The Beyond has the best ending of any film ever. Yeah,
disagree. But
that was when it was.
I'll say The Mist. Come back at me, Andy.
The ending for that one was pretty unexpected. I'll say that in case.
Yes, yeah. I remember seeing I remember back in the day. I don't know if you can remember when USA DVDs, like back in the day, Play.com and things like that. The US release dates of movies against the UK home release dates were crazy. I remember Finding Nemo on Region 1 DVD before it was at the theatre cinema over in the UK. I remember a friend of mine was round his house one night on Amazon.com. We just bought a shitload of horror movies. Yeah. I mean, Friday box set, Nightmare on Elm Street, but loads of like Anchor Bay releases. And when he was round the other night, I was talking about it, because he's got, is it Let the Sleeping Corpses Lie at Manchester Morgue or something like that?
Yeah. Living Dead.
And I'm trying to get him to give me it. But he got The Beyond in this tin, Anchor Bay tin. I remember us watching it for the first time ever in a little old school CRT TV, you know, back in the day. And it stays with you. So I know what he means by that ending.
Yeah. Wolfman got Nards, and CP has joined the live stream. We have a celebrity, people.
I'm sure Wolfman's got Nards will agree with the Monster Squad getting a Arrow treatment.
Okay, so what's our next topic that we're going to look at, Jambo?
Let me consult my book of knowledge. Your first Arrow title.
First Arrow title.
Shall we do that one?
I'll jump in first this time. Just Grumpy Andrew.
Yeah, mix it up.
He'll appreciate this one.
If you say $9.99 again, I'm hanging up.
This thing was just a penny under a tenner. Really good. This was my first pickup. This one here. Just because
that was it. Had you seen it before,
yes.
Or you picked it up?
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen it on.
Okay, so you kind of knew what you knew what you was getting.
Yeah, it was I think I seen it on like Channel 4 or Movie Drome or something like that. You know, one of those things I'd seen it. I watched it. I think after I seen that, I rushed out and got the second one, which was awful. Requiem. But yeah, that's my first ever Arrow purchase.
But what a first edition to get.
So what was yours?
I do love that film Battle Royale. It is so grim and just violent.
Yeah. And
so everyone, when the whole Hunger Games thing come out, I was like, "Oh, Hunger Games this!" Well, go and watch Battle Royale, and then come back to me. You know, go watch that. Right. So sorry, I'm just reading some comments. Horror Touch. My first Arrow title was House 17 months ago. Really? So he's new to all this. Wow. Battle Royale, Gumpy Andrew, not even worth 11 quid. We're not going to hear the end of this now, are we?
Yeah.
I hear it goes for... that thing goes for less than a tenner. Alright.
Hang on, just CP's just asking if Child's Play. The new one is out here. Yes, it's out, and yes, it's pretty crap.
I mean, Child's Play 17,
19. Which
came out in 2019 here. So I'm just trying to be funny. Didn't work.
Dennis's first
we'll leave CP to be
right. Cop. Yeah, nice one.
So what people, first title, yeah. So Dennis, Blue Corner, first title's Maniac Cop, nice.
Wolfman's Got Nard was...
So yeah, you just picked it up because it was Maniac Cop, not the fact that it was Arrow, so you discovered Arrow because of the title. That's cool.
Wolfman's Got Nard was Dawn of the Dead, the window box one. I think that still goes for it.
Oh, 50 quid. Do you know what? I don't get that edition. I placed a bid on one the other day, and it was like, I have a ceiling of how much I'll go to, and it was 40 quid, and it went for like 45. Then another one, literally a week later, and I shit you not, £122 it went through. And then there was another one which went for 75. And now as a buy it now for £50. I don't get the pricing. And do you know what? Although I'd love that edition, Second Sight have the rights, and they're releasing it later this year with Martin. So I think I'll hold off. But yeah, what a good title to get first. Right. Don't know if you can see. There we go. City of the Living Dead.
Nice.
Now, bit of story behind this one. I was in HMV. Glad they're still going. So to anyone who don't know what HMV is, it's just a shop that sells physical media. And yeah, I was looking through the Blu-ray section, the horror section, and it was on sale for £7.49 or something. And HMV do that sort of pricing. And it was just sat there in front of me like this. And I was like, I'm a sucker for packaging, you see. You know, as a DVD collector, you know, you always like the decent DVD releases. And it was the packaging which caught my eye, plus the artwork. Never heard of Arrow, never heard of the film, to be honest. And, yeah, saw it, put it down, went home, didn't buy it. And then all day, it was annoying me. And I was thinking about it. Why didn't I buy it? Why didn't I buy it? I want to see it, watch some bits on it. So yeah, went back and bought it. And that was my first Arrow title. And then it was... From there, it's grown and grown and grown. Don't have too many of the window box editions, to be fair, but this film, you know, Fulci, I think it's the best of the trilogy. It's my favourite of them. And the first time I watched it, I had no idea what the hell I'd seen. Didn't know what was going on. You know, like you said, teleporting zombies and all sorts. But yeah, after rewatch, it grows in there. And it's probably certainly my top 5 most rewatched Arrow releases. So yeah, City of the Living Dead.
Yeah, and
that's what got me into all this.
And that's the true sign of a collector, when you don't pick up something and it just won't leave your memory for the next day or so until you buy it. Yeah,
that was it. I was going on going, why didn't I pick that up? Why didn't I pick that up? Why didn't I pick that up? To the point of, right, I gotta go and get it now. And I was not disappointed.
Yeah. Andrew's there saying buying a Blu-ray for the cover is the spirit of the 80s. So.
He's also, what's HMV, Grandad?
Yeah. There we go.
What draws me to my local town every Saturday.
So, what is our next topic?
Favourite artwork? Covers. That was one of the questions.
Okay. I'll let you go with this one because you've probably got them sitting there.
I haven't. No, I haven't. This is really bad. I've not got them, and I could grab them. I think. I'm going to do 3 if I can grab it without trashing everything. Where is it? What? Right, so my favourite artwork. No. First one is the Zombie Flesh Eaters artwork.
Right.
Like I said, I picked up the Steelbook earlier this month because I've started to do a complete collection overview of my Arrow collection. If you've not watched it, do. And I did the Steelbook section, and I thought, I've got quite a few, but I wonder how much. So I then started looking how many Steelbooks, and there are loads Arrow did in Steelbooks. So I bought the Zombie Flesh Eaters, which is one of them kind of sought after ones. The window boxes, but it's basically artwork. It's that artwork, and that's on the Steelbook. So I think my first one is Fulci's Zombie Flesh Eaters. I don't think you can disagree with that artwork.
Very good.
Was it Graham Humphreys? Yeah, it was Graham Humphreys. Next up is, this is one I grabbed, is City of the Living Dead Steelbook. Right. It's just the front and rear artwork. It just looks so good. I tell you what it reminds me of, like old haunted house, like fairground rides, you know, and like 70s and 80s rock and roll LP covers and dirty, grimy video stores, if that makes any sense to anybody, but that's what it reminds me of. And then we've talked about this a few times already this evening, Earth, the Beyond.
So
yeah, they're my favourites.
So what would you say that draws you towards your favourite artwork? Because mine is quite different from yours.
Okay. I mean, with a lot of the newly commissioned artwork, I don't tend to go for it as much. I do prefer the original poster arts, I would say, most of my time. But what draws me to it is, I think it's the old school design. If you look at old school horror posters, I think today's very much more simplistic. Less is more nowadays. Take like Us, things like that. You look like the Us Steelbook. It's is it scissors on it? It looks like. But this sort of artwork, I suppose it nearly cons you to a certain degree. You look at some artwork and you go, I hope the film lives up to the artwork. And I think it's the sales pitch. Back in the day, a lot of people wouldn't have watched trailers, no internet and things like that. You go into your video store. So you kind of grew up looking at this sort of over-the-top, to me, hand-drawn. This is hand-drawn artwork, painting or airbrush and things like that. So I think that's what takes me in, the fact that it looks real, if that makes sense, rather than kind of like... if you look at the new Battle Royale Steelbook on Zavi, anyone could have done that in bloody Photoshop, but not anyone could have done that. So I think it really goes back to your kind of upbringing to a certain degree, kind of what you look for, what took your eye in the video shop. That's what I'll go.
I kind of like generally cleaner covers. I like some of the newer art. So
okay,
I'll show you the first one. It's Slugs.
Yes, that's a good cover.
I mean, how do you sell a movie about killer slugs? This one does it particularly well. I think it's clean.
Does its job, doesn't it?
Does its job. It does everything. A fairly new one, and it's the slipcase for Killer Clowns for Outer Space. I like the fact that it's just so colourful. It's got all the famous clowns from it. It's part of the big top that's all round about it. It's kind of shiny. It's colourful. It's clean. And I think my favourite colour, I think, if I can just peel this sticker that's covering a little bit of it. No, I can't. It's staying on it. My favourite cover for a movie that I've not watched as yet, Necromantic. Right? Now, I don't know about the movie. I know what the movie's about. I haven't seen it, but I think that cover is stunning. The pink and the green.
It's.
I know you watched.
Tell you what, though,
you watched it with Randy Moore for it was a 5 movie. Was it last year? Your movie marathon. You watched it.
Yeah, we did it. We decided to watch that whilst eating our breakfast. Yeah. I think we talked to Grumpy Andrew about it and was like, yeah, we'll watch it. We're going to watch it during breakfast. Probably not the best idea, but have you seen the reverse artwork for that?
No, I haven't.
The original it's as I think it's more awesome than that. I totally agree. That artwork is awesome. I have mine flipped round the other side. It's gorgeous, the original artwork.
Right,
but yeah,
you can't say that.
So why?
Shows.
I know. I'm gonna have to get up now. Just a sec. Right, I'm back. Can you hear me? Right.
Right, that's good. Good.
You see, to me, that's kind of. It looks like thrash metal covers. You know, like the airbrush kind of like metallic effect, and there's a corpse with its eye popping out, caressing a woman's breast. It's awesome. But yeah, that one as well. That drew me originally to it. I think, and you say you've not seen it?
No, I've not watched it as yet.
Well, if you want some entertainment whilst eating breakfast tomorrow, you know what you can do?
And for lunch, I suppose I could do.
Yes. See, that's artwork's nice. And again, but the first artwork's better, right. In my opinion. But you know, opinions are arseholes, isn't it?
Okay, so.
But yeah, those sort of films though, I would never have I don't think I'd ever gone out my way to watch Necromantic if it wouldn't have been on Arrow. And it's one of them titles which I knew of, and knew about its kind of what it's about. It didn't really attract me that much to it, to be fair. But I was at HorrorCon and Arrow had a 5 for 30 on their stall the other year, and they were in it. I thought, right, now's the time. £6 a pop. And to be fair, Necromantic was surprisingly good. Grim, but surprisingly good.
Okay.
And if you've not seen it, everybody watching, perfect date movie.
Okay, so what's our next subject?
We've done favourite discoveries. Okay, we slightly touched on it early on, but thoughts on re-releasing editions. So, you know, they'll sell out and then they'll do a limited edition, you know, and then that'll sell out and then they'll re-release it again. So they're kind of like not having disputes, just milking that. I suppose it's getting maximum revenue from the license.
Yeah.
So things like, I mean, I understand the single edition being released thereafter, a limited edition like we've recently had out of the blue, the Phantasm single release. But what about when they did Deep Red, didn't they? And then they redid Deep Red with a restoration. They redid Killer Clowns. That Life Force one, I think, is a re-restoration or a restoration. So what do you think about them kind of just not regurgitating, but re-releasing, rather than maybe bringing films like we just spoke about, films we want to see actually have editions, but actually going back to their current catalogue rather than doing something new?
Well, if it's something like, say, City of the Living Dead, where they've got a brand new restoration, they put it in a limited package, they give all new extras with it, they actually add the bells and whistles, it makes something a bit better, then yeah, I'm all for it. If it's something like the upcoming Bava set, which has basically just been flung together because they're losing the license and they want to just squeeze every bit of money out of it that they can, then that is something that's just a cash grab, and that's something that's going to damage the brand, in my opinion. But I don't know about Life Force. Did it have any extras, new additional extras?
It's a 2-disc edition. Yeah. I believe it's got the 2 cuts on it. So if they do an additional cut,
yes,
and a restoration, I'm all for that, because you know sometimes you do want to see some of your favourite films in the best possible picture and sound and all that good stuff. But I completely agree. When you know Arrow do their tease, release is coming this Friday, you get excited. You know, around that time you're on Twitter seeing what they're pumping out. And when I saw that Bava one, I didn't know about the license expiry. So now you say that you can understand from a business sense that, you know, maximise your investment, get the maximised return from it. But still, from people like ourselves who collect these films and have a plethora of other titles we want to release, I just think it's a bit of a piss take re-releasing There's nothing special.
Yeah.
If they're all re-releases and different cuts, and maybe made the ultimate Barber edition with whole new extras, and but if it's just a repackaged single disc of the film, then I don't know. I think that could be damaging to the already dying physical media.
Yeah.
So, but then again, like when they do the re-releases with extra features and extra restorations, I do kind of like it, and I do, to be honest, double dip. Again, I did with the City of the Living Dead. It was great packaging, great restoration, and it's they're the sort of ones you can understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how much more they do.
Okay, so I think our next one is it favourite extra?
Yeah, okay, yeah, favourite extra.
You want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I mean, mine's quite. I won't say it's a cop out of an extra, but I was struggling to know what to really put for this one, or the ideas of what to do. But I think what I'm going to go for is what I find fantastic with an Arrow spend the time and the effort into it is when they put out editions like this, the TCM2 edition, and also the Videodrome limited edition when that first came out. Good. And the reason I'm talking these, I'm classing them as extras, but you might think that's a cop out. But I'm talking about when they actually include in the edition as additional substance or is early works. So in this one, on this edition, you get Eggshells. So it's an early short film by Toby Hooper, Eggshells, and the Heisters, and then Eggshells, which is 90 minutes long. So you actually get in early works. And same with the Videodrome. I forget what they're called now. I think then Arrow then did release those early works on an own standard, separate Amaray release.
Yeah.
I think it might have even been called the early works.
Yeah.
But they're the extras I like. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the fact that they have new making ofs, or at least new interviews with casts. I can appreciate sometimes you can't get the Kurt Russells or the stars in the main cast, but I like the fact they also have archive interviews. So I think my favourite extras for me are the early works of Toby Hooper. Right. So when you really appreciate a director and you buy TCM2 and you actually get additional movies, so you can really go back into his early films. I think that as an extra is just a real selling point. It's like, I can't remember, there's a release I bought recently and it come Leprechaun. Right. The DVD of the new Leprechaun. Oh. But it came with, the reason I bought it is it came with the original.
Oh man. Have you watched it yet?
No. It's still sealed, but the reason I bought it is because it came with the Jennifer Aniston, Warwick Davis original Leprechaun. Yeah. And I was like, sold. I'm going to get that now.
Yeah, the new one's not
that
great.
To me is the extra.
Yeah.
No. Well. So, okay. Over to you then. What?
My extra.
Your extra. Oh.
So I got the Endless set, and it comes as an extra with a movie called Resolution. And it's only available to the limited sets now. Resolution was a movie that I really enjoyed when I saw it, but it didn't get a UK Blu-ray release, or even I don't even know if it got a DVD release. And the fact that it kind of tied in a little bit to the Endless, but it's definitely its own thing. That is an extra. Just the fact that they went out their way to get a whole new movie, license it, throw it on a disc as an extra. Tremendous. This was one of my favourite discs that they released last year. I think it was like 3,000 copies that came with both movies. Have you got that, Jambo?
I have, and do you know what? With that one, I'd seen so much buzz about it, and it was like, I have to own this. And I don't buy a lot of Arrows on day one release. I'm a bit of I don't like paying full price all the time. Don't get me wrong, limited editions. With a standard Amaray release, you know that Arrow do quite a few sales through the year, and especially with this buy one get one free. I just bought a couple. I can't remember what it was, and then, like you say, a couple of weeks later, boom, there's the sale. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I bought it. I was so hyped, and I've not watched it, but yes, I do have it. And someone was speaking to me not so long ago, a couple of days ago, about Endless, I think it might have even been a comment on my video of I did the slipcovers as a separate Blu-ray collection overview, and someone commented to say that they love that edition because it includes resolution, and they said it's actually part of the same universe and there's the same people in it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're the same character playing the same characters, but he said you'll recognise a few people. But he loved the fact that a universe had been created by these directors, and the fact that in the limited edition they had included it. So yeah, it's one certainly high on my watch pile. And I've just realised I've not refreshed any comments for ages, and now I'm having to see. Sorry, I'm seeing like loads of new people who are here.
Oh,
so Huss is here from A Touch Film. Grant's here from Horror Fan Man. So Grant, buys all the editions. You buy everything. You're the reason there's no arrows left, Grant. You buy them all.
Is he a millionaire?
I don't know. But yeah, he does like his arrow. He's certainly got one of the biggest collections I've seen. Sorry, I'm just going through some of the comments.
Yeah.
Region Free Player. Sorry, I've just seen a comment by Touch Film. Region Free Player. Do you have one then, Graham? Region Free Blu-ray player.
No, I don't.
No. I think that's one of them can of worms. You open the door.
Yeah.
I've stuck to not buying one because I know if I do, then it opens up another gateway of spending.
Yeah, it's the import tax and that and things as well. Just spending enough on UK releases. I don't need to throw in more.
I don't think there's too many out there now. There's too many US releases or Region A lot releases which we probably couldn't get. Because a good thing I find with like Amazon Germany and Amazon Spain, if you can't get it in the UK, you'll probably get it over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think
I do import quite a lot of those titles from there.
What is our last? Is it a last topic we have? One more? Two more?
Well, we talked. Well, one of the comments was about should Arrow start releasing in 4K, and do we think it's worth now than investing in 4K? Would we buy the thing in 4K? Things like that. So that was one of the questions, and there was one last one I've got down here. Me personally, I do have a 4K setup. I have bought a few titles in 4K. Some I'm really impressed with. Some I'm like, can't notice the difference if I'm all honest.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the things where, I've recently bought the Escape from New York 4K box set. They did the Studio Canal release a few months ago, and it looks great. And don't get me wrong, the previous UK release was god awful transfer anyway, so anything was better. But I've got Suspiria on 4K, the Argento Suspiria on 4K,
Yes.
and I don't see, them sort of things. I don't see it benefiting from it.
I don't think, unless you've got like a massive screen where you're really going to take full advantage of 4K, I think it's something that it's not essential just now. I've got a 4K setup. I maybe have about 15-20 discs that I've picked up, but really cheap. And again, some of it, it looks great, but is there that much of an improvement? You went from DVD to Blu-ray, and it was a jump. You could notice it.
It was a huge jump, I find that.
But from Blu-ray to 4K, is it worth it? Do we want to get Doom Asylum 4K edition? Probably not. Necromantic in 4K? The movies that they play in, I don't know if it's necessary.
Necromantic 4K. But funny, on that though, I've seen that pre-order is Waterworld on 4K.
Yeah.
So it's not by Arrow, but it's getting a 4K release. I am quite tempted,
Right.
Just because of the way the film is, all set at water, just to see what that picture would be like.
But if you wait 6 months, you'll get that at a reduced price.
Yeah, because I recently started using Zoom.
Yes.
I've never really used Zoom, and they started doing like 4Ks for $9.99 every week. They'll do like a few. Yeah. I picked up one of the greatest movies ever made, and that's The Mummy Returns. You can laugh all you want, but I love The Mummy Returns, and it looked a lot better in 4K. But it's things like they've just But maybe the rock scorpion bit at the end was horrendous.
Surely that's just like
but
putting.
I actually found that.
Is that not just like putting glitter on a turd? Like getting the Mummy Returns in 4K? It's just.
No, it's investing in cinema gold. But yeah, it's. Yeah, you're right. It's the price. You know, what's a 4K new release now? It's £25. I'm not going to spend £25 on. I don't know. And it's random with the titles. You'll get some which won't even get a Blu-ray release. And it's like Summer of '84, fantastic movie. Yeah. It didn't even get a UK. Did it even get a DVD release over here? I don't even know. I mean, there's a film I watched recently called Prospect.
Yeah, I love it.
Which is an awesome sci-fi. Absolutely blew my socks off, and that's getting a German 4K. I will pick it up in 4K because I thought it looked fantastic. But unless the price, but it's a media book. It's a package, so that's why I'll get it. But I won't. Yeah, I think they're just too pricey. I know what you say. You wait long enough and they come down in price. But I think if Arrow went down the 4K market, I wouldn't start re-picking up titles again. And I think if they were to go 4K, it would have to be big releases they're doing in 4K. Mm-hmm. You know, if they did pick up, you know, do you can imagine if they announced the Abyss 4K limited edition box set? That would be fantastic. The Lost Boys 4K restoration, 4K edition. If they started releasing, Hills of Eyes on 4K, not interested. The Blu-ray will be enough. So it would have to be special movies. So I suppose it ties in what licenses they can get hold of, but yeah,
I think we agree on that one. Grumpy Andrew says, if you love The Mummy Returns, you should check out The Mummy.
Which one?
The good one with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, I've got that on 4K as well. And The Scorpion King has been announced on 4K. There we go. I'm giving you my dark secrets out here. People talk about guilty pleasures. I don't really have a guilty pleasure. If I like a film, I like a film. I don't really care. It's one of the things, I love those as films. I think they're just dumb, fun adventure movies. Mm-hmm. It's like I was going to say modern day Indiana Jones, but don't all go ballistic at that comment. But, that sort of dumb adventure movies. But, yeah, I do like kind of The Mummy, and certainly The Mummy is probably my favourite Universal monster, and that's probably why I like that. I'm sorry, right, I'm going to read some comments now. So, Huss. The only thing 4K I love is the 4K Blu-ray unboxing from Blu-ray down. Sorry, kind of an in-joke there. The Mummy films are the bomb. Yes, another lover of the Mummy films. The only good thing about, I suppose, 4K is the region free. So I've had quite a few from the US. I got the Annihilation one, which looks awesome on 4K.
Yeah, I just picked.
So that's the other good thing about.
I picked that up from the Zoom sale for $9.99.
All right, see, that's when 4K, I suppose, is more accessible, isn't it? I mean, for $9.99 for Annihilation on 4K, why would you not get it? Sorry, right, reading some more comments. So Horror Fan Man says 460 now. Wow. So I'm assuming that's how many Arrow titles you have. That's insane.
Well done. I'm jealous.
I bet he's nearly complete. So on that then, are you one of those who would want to go to complete collection? Is there any which, even though okay, here's one then. So are there any films which Arrow have released which you will not get because you just have no interest? Or would you just give everything, the brand loyalty and the fact that you love their releases? Would you give everything a try? Or is there some where you go, nah, completely not interested?
Yeah, there's a few that I've just kind of said that to, but then again, there is the magical price point, they do like £5 Blu-rays every now and again, and I've picked up a few there that I thought I wouldn't pick up.
Yep.
That kind of price point, so it's all dependent on cost as well. I don't know if I would have picked up Doom Asylum or Trapped Alive if it wasn't for the 2 for £15 HMV were doing. you know.
All right,
So
okay.
it's one of those kind of things. But
Yeah,
there is the odd movie that
it's
just tickle my sensibilities. But again, if it was cheap enough, I'd probably buy it.
yeah, I know what you mean. It's like the Necromantics. You know, I knew of them, I knew what they're about. Didn't sound the most pleasing of films, subject matter, but they're in a 5 for 30. You think, wow, at that price point, if you don't like him, even if you traded them in or put them on eBay, you probably get your money back.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, it's like Arrow Video got the Tinto Brass movies.
I've got one.
I don't, you know. Yeah,
but I picked it.
Any good?
I've not watched it. I picked it up for like £2.
Well, there we go. £2, that'd be worth it. So yeah, they're the sort of titles I wouldn't be interested in. The early works of, is it Seijun Suzuki? Of course, at Touchville will be cursing me for that, but they're also expensive. I cancelled my pre-orders, and now I'm not really fussed about going back.
Oh man,
I've thought about trying to go for a complete collection, but I think there's those. There's the is it Nikatsu Diamond guys or something like that? Not really interested about picking them up. But again, I think the first one's out of print and the second one's in the bar will get on free. But if I happen to be at a horror convention, and that's the other thing, I've been at conventions where Arrow stalls are there and they have like the Thing steelbooks for sale at retail price or normal retail. They seem to have a selection of like the Blood and Black Lace steelbook.
Right.
But if the price was right and I was there, and they would, you know, then maybe I would. Like you say, it's all about the money.
Here's a question for you: is there anything that you missed out on that you wish you had got?
Yes. Zavi did I hate fucking Zavi, but they did the steelbook release. They had like, I think it was five exclusive steelbooks, and it included quite a few.
Like Society,
and it was like the Maniac Cop was one of them. Black Sunday was one. There was quite a few, and I didn't get them all. Right. Because I already had back then. I was very much, if I already had an edition, like I have the window box of Maniac Cop. So I was like, why do I need to pay another 15, 20 quid or whatever for the steelbook? There's no point. But now I've actually bought the steelbook. And probably paid over the odds than I could have back in the day. So I cancelled a lot of them. The Deep Red, again, I have the window box. I wish I had bought that up now. We talked earlier about the Battles Without Honor box set, whatever it's called. Yeah, I've got the new one, but I didn't get the original past that up. The Vincent Price collection, you know, the orange box, the Gothic Tales, I think it's called.
Tales,
I passed that one up, and I forget his name. Is it Herschel Gordon Lewis or something like that? They did the big cereal box.
Yes.
And my OCD was like, it won't fit on my shelf and it will annoy me, so I won't buy it. And now I want it. So, there were a few editions. What about yourself?
Off the top of my head, I think I wanted the Society limited edition set.
Oh, you not got that one in the...
Missed out. Necromantic.
Because you got the second one.
I got the second one. I think it was off the Arrow sale for £6 or something silly, and I wish I'd got the first one. And the Gothic horror set would have been right up my street, but I missed out on that. And I would have liked the steelbooks of the Burbs or Big Trouble in Little China, but at that point I was just like, the £6 for the Burbs is fine. Why do I need the steelbook?
And now you want the steelbook. And that's the thing, you know, when they start, it's that point when they start re-releasing different editions. You're like, there's a point where one, space is a big thing for us collectors, and also, you know, if I spend another 20 quid on this edition of a movie I already have, or do I invest that 20 quid in a couple of editions I've not seen before and add something new to them? You know, we talked about discoveries. You know, if you're just rebuying the same title over and over again, it impacts stuff you don't, you know, of discoveries.
Okay, so I think it's our last topic we have next. Is that
right? Last one was favourite limited edition set I had on my list. Is that the same on
That's
yours?
the same.
Ah, good. Our lists are linked. I wonder if it's the same. Or probably.
Nope.
I can't see you. So.
Nope.
No. You're going to get the one I wish I bought now.
Well, I'll go first.
You go first.
Okay.
Then. You go first.
My favourite one is this. I got it for $9.99. Terrific background. No, I'm not. It's not that. My favourite is.
Ah, there it is. There it is.
With the big cereal box thing. It is massive, but it's amazing. It's an amazing set. It's one of those ones that I kept looking at, and then I think I got it on sale for £35.
It went down on Amazon. I was watching it. It went down to a decent price. I was like, shall I? And now it's gone.
That's when I got it, and I was going to.
Oh right, okay.
Hummed and hawed, but the Herschel Gordon Lewis set is pretty fantastic.
Because I've not seen any of his movies.
Yeah, I've seen Blood Feast and another one. They're incredibly cheesy, but they're kind of fun. They're the Godfather of Gore. It's where it all kind of kicked off.
They look right up my street. I think they've done these separate Amore releases for them. I think they have. Well, started release.
If you've ever seen Serial Mom, have you ever seen that? No. There's a clip in that that's out a Lewis movie. Arrow should release that. Serial Mom. That's fantastic.
Is that good?
Catherine Turner. Okay.
Right, sorry, I'm just looking at some comments. Someone's going, Ness, got a split. Catch you later, folks. Been fun. Well, thank you for dropping by to listen to me and Graham talk Arrow for the last, what has it been? Guys, nearly 2 hours ish. Wow, time flies. Do you know how many people are actually in the chat? How many people are actually here?
Yeah, 15, I think, just now.
You there, Randy Mole? I suppose you won't be watching Love Island, will you? It's not on Saturday. She Devils on Wheels is one of the worst films ever. See, that's the one which looks really cool to me, just by the cover art. I was going through HMV earlier, thinking, the sale's going to run out soon. Shall I make the most of it? And I had that one in my hand. I did put it back, but yeah, one of the worst films ever. That's a bold statement, Grant. So right, I do have the edition somewhere. Here it is. And I'll put out there to the chat as well. Well, to anyone watching, what's your favourite edition you own or wish you'd owned? But mine is
Scarlet Box.
Can you see it? The Scarlet Box. And the reason being for this one is, I think this one was, for me, a game changer for Arrow. This was the first really kind of... I know the Dawn of the Dead was a mainstream or a well-beloved horror movie, but when they announced Hellraiser, I love Hellraiser, absolutely adore Hellraiser, and to release all three in this amazing box set, this to me is where, for me, Arrow kind of just stepped up their game, and then they started rolling out The Thing and things like that. And I think Donnie Darko came after this as well, but yeah, this one to me was the one which I was like, oh, yeah. The big boys and playing now. Yeah, so, and in the edition, I'm not going to open up and go and stuff, but it's a fantastic packed edition. The only thing I would say, if I am critical, the transfer on Hellraiser is not brilliant. I've got the Anchor Bay US Blu-ray. I think the picture's better on that, to be fair. Okay. But yeah, as a complete edition, I absolutely adore this. So can you imagine something like this for an Arnie box set or something like that? I mean, that's the other thing, I think maybe Arrow should go into kind of some more action. I'm a big action junkie, with Eureka and 88 Films picking up a lot of Jackie Chan films. It's like, well, why haven't Arrow? If they could do something like that for the early works of Jackie Chan, like a complete edition of Jackie Chan's early works and things like that. But yeah, that's my favourite release, limited edition release.
Yep, and I suppose that's just kind of got near the end of our chat, but the future's looking extremely bright for Arrow. We've probably got another 10 years ahead of us. I think with the inclusion of Waterworld, I think we are looking at some more exciting releases. I know they've got RoboCop coming, and I'm curious to see the packaging that they're going to do for that, and I'm kind of interested to see what other older movies that are going to get big releases that come out. I think that could be quite interesting. Have you got anything else to add before we disappear?
No, I think that's a good point. Do we think Arrow will be here in 10 years' time, releasing Blu-rays? The whole physical media. I think that could be a whole new discussion on, is the physical media market dying?
Yeah.
I think the success of Arrow has shown you that there's still a demand.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much collectors orientated rather than the general public, if that makes sense. The impulse buyer. It's more about film fans. So as long as people want, as long as there's a demand, there'll be a supply.
Yeah.
And it may be a bit, I'm a fan, so there's always going to be demand. So I was just seeing Adam Pearson, RoboCop, that, and the way they did it, just put the little cards in some releases, and there's just, I remember opening up an Amaray case, and I saw that card saying RoboCop. I was like, why haven't they done like a big announcement for it? But I just liked it. It was very subtle, and depending on what they do, that could be awesome. Yeah. So what sort of, I've heard rumours they're going to do 4K on it, but yeah, I think that's congratulations, Arrow, 10 years. So just for myself, Graham, thank you for inviting me to do this.
Not at all.
I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the people putting the fact that I've had people come in and say hello. I've had a good time.
So if you haven't already done so, I will put in the show notes at some point Jambo's channel link, so please go and subscribe to that. Like I said at the start, maybe it was the false start we had, it's criminally undersubscribed, and I think that's something that we really need to fix, so please go and do that. As well,
I have a goal, 500 subscribers by the end of the year. That's my like.
Must be able to do that. If I have to make up another 50 like false accounts, I'll do it. But yes, come on, let's do it. Of course, if you are an Arrow fan, and if you're an Arrow fan that has a YouTube channel, why not comment and just drop your channel link in there as well? Maybe somebody else will stumble across it. We can help each other out, grow the love for this, and thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. I'm sure you'll be back, Jambo, for another show of some sort.
You invite me, I'll turn up.
Thanks. Catch you later.